G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Chaos cards. Keep in mind that I do not have access to version 42, so we're simply going to be looking at the leaked images that came out. So some of this might be a little bit different, and especially some of the cards that have actually been shown in version 42 gameplay over YouTube may actually still change as well before the patch actually hits. So take this kind of with a grain of salt, but we've got a pretty good example of what is coming. So I thought, why not? Let's start with Chaos, because Chaos actually interests me quite a lot. I think it's going to be something that a lot of carries are running, although I don't feel like it's a necessity. I feel like it's actually something that a lot of people are going to go into. So first off, we have Unstable Cyborg. Unstable Cyborg costs 4 agility and 8 vitality. So that is 12,000 gold worth of attribute points. It gives you 17 power, 47 basic armor, and has Reactive Burst, which is a 20% chance to deal 125 ability damage to all nearby enemies when taking damage. It might not seem super strong, but I think when used on, considering its agility and vitality, you probably would assume that this would be a very good option for a tanky jungler. Coming out, copying damage, it's your job to cop damage, so why not every now and then have a 1 in 5 chance of dealing ability damage to everyone. So I actually think that that's not a bad card at all. Next up we have Tireless Reaper, which just costs 1 intellect. It has no stats on the card, it just comes with Spell Slinger. Every 10 seconds your next ability costs 20% less to cast. So this is actually pretty cool. I'm assuming that you'll have some form, I'm hoping some form of visual cue as to when this procs. It could be good on a lot of casters, mid lane casters, burst casters. I think a lot of people are intending to run knowledge for sure on most of their casters, and I'm assuming that a lot of people are probably going to go knowledge and chaos, but there are other good options out there, so this could be a reason for casters to actually go for chaos. I'm not expecting this to be very prominent late game, but early game, considering it only costs 1 intellect, and if you are a caster, chances are you're probably going to go for 1 intellect straight up, because there are some very good cards that help you level up and gain XP that have to do with grabbing some intellect early on. Next up we have Thorned Yomi, which is how I'm going to say it. You get 10 power and 31 basic armor for 2 agility and 6 vitality. I've seen this work quite well. RGS Ace was using this, I believe, on his Iggy build. It comes with Counteract, which is to return 65% of damage taken for 4 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. It costs 50 mana. That 50 mana cost to return 65% of damage taken over 4 seconds is pretty remarkable. This is a very strong card, and I think a lot of people are actually going to run this. It's another reason why Chaos could be a very good pick for tanky junglers, because once again you're already going to be speccing into agility and into vitality, because vitality is going to make you tanky, and agility is, although it's also going to raise your power and attack speed, it's also going to give you basic armor at certain stages, so it's a very good option. It's a little bit expensive in the fact that it costs 2,000 gold for the agility and 6,000 for the vitality, but it is a mid to late game card, definitely. But it's a very good one, definitely the best one so far that we've looked at. Next up is Shatter Golem. This is one of the crit cards that are going to be in the game. It gives you 26 power and 18 attack speed, and it costs 13 agility. So this is going to be something that only full-on damage dealers are going to be building, probably. I would assume, considering that I think the trend of the only big damage dealers being casters and carries, and the fact that casters are going to spec more into intellect than agility, that this is probably only going to be seen on on carries and junglers in very low elos where people still run crit builds and stuff now. So it's 13,000 gold worth of agility, and it is only a 20% chance to deal 100% bonus damage, but that is still a thing. That 20% chance could be quite a lot. We still don't know really too much about all the power scaling and everything, so I don't know whether this is actually as good as it sounds or as bad as it sounds, however you interpret it, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's definitely going to be pretty prominent, I think, at least at the start of version 42 with a lot of carries. Next up we have Sandspeeder. It is a 2 agility cost, so that's 2,000 gold. You get 7 attack speed and you get fleet-footed. Increased movement speed by 12% whenever you attack or are attacked. Your move speed is reduced by 8% for 15 seconds. Now, from what I understand, everybody's having different movement speeds in the game. So this could actually be pretty viable. I haven't actually looked at the numbers for everyone's movement speed, so I don't really know who this could be useful on, but obviously it's going to be someone speccing into agility, so it's probably going to be a tank, a jungler, or a carry that'll probably pick this up, which is another reason why Chaos is looking very good for junglers and for carries. Then we have Riot Sapper. It costs 2 vitality and 5 intellect. It gives you 11 power and 24 ability armor, and it has mana bomb. Remove 20% current mana from nearby enemy heroes, dealing ability damage equal to mana removed. It has a 45-second cooldown and it only costs 50 mana. I'm actually looking forward to using this on Bellica, because I feel like in the middle of a team fight, being able to use this while your drone is out, removing 20% of everyone's mana, and then dealing ability damage equal to that. We don't know what that damage is actually going to mean in the case of actual numbers in game, but having the ability to take off 20% of their current mana, obviously you want to use that towards the start of a team fight because it's going to equal to more mana, and then being able to follow up with your ult on someone that's been pesky and is low on mana is going to be a great thing. So I think this is a pretty good card. It's not too expensive for how strong it actually sounds, but once again we don't really know how strong it is until we get into version 42. Next up is Red Zone. It gives you 29 power, 410 health and 170 mana, and Red Zone, which is nearby heroes both deal and receive 50% additional damage. It's very expensive. It costs 8 of each of the attributes, so it's 24,000 gold worth of a card. And it might sound like you probably wouldn't want to run it, but I could actually assume that having this on jungler, or maybe even on a support, think someone like I'm thinking sort of a Deca build that has this, which when you put your cage down, allowing your heroes to deal 50% more damage without being able to be hit because they're in front of the cage, but the enemy heroes are going to take 50% damage and there's not much they can do about it. So that Gideon gadget howitzer ult is going to be even more powerful. That carry that's standing just outside the cage attacking is going to be that much more powerful. So on first glance it doesn't sound like a great card, but I can actually think of a lot of situations where this might actually be pretty cool. It is very expensive though. Next up is Reactive Beast. Reactor Beast. 12 power, 265 health, and roll the bones. Hero kills, reset all basic ability cooldowns. So that would mean, in my opinion, that means everything but your ult. Costs 4 vitality and 4 intellect, so it's not a bad cost for that. It's just a very, very situational thing because it actually states that you need to get the kill. So if you know how many times someone manages to snake the kill. No, we're not going to call it kill stealing because it's kill securing, but you don't always have the guarantee that you're going to get the kill unless you're using something like your ultimate. So the fact that this isn't going to reset that ultimate, just all your basic ability cooldowns, may not be the greatest card in the world, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure someone will come up with a great combination of hero and cards to make this worthwhile. Then we have Profiteer. Okay, this costs 2400 gold. Gives you 4 power, so it's an early game card, and you earn 55 bonus gold for enemy minion kills. This is going to be very, very good for a carry, but it is a combustible card. Combustible cards will be removed from your deck, or from your hand, so it'll be unslotted when you die. So you'll pay 2400 gold for it. When you die, you will have to pay 2400 gold to get it again, so you're going to need to be pretty careful, but if you have a support that actually has a ward on by that stage, this is a very, very good way for a carry to get ahead, because he's pretty much going to be farming for the first 5 to 10 minutes while also trying to push that tower, and if he's able to stay safe and you're able to keep him safe, this could be a very, very good card to get him ahead. Him or her, not assuming gender. Next up we have Pressure Hunter. It costs 7 agility. It's 10 power and 13 attack speed, and it has Giant Slayer. Deal 2 bonus damage to targets with more vitality than you. Amount is increased by vitality difference. So this also could be very, very good on a carry, because you're probably not going to build much vitality. And say people like Severog and Rampage, for instance, are going to build a lot of vitality, because I feel like tankiness is going to become a very, very big thing. So this could be a very popular card after a little while, once people realize how much how worthwhile vitality is and how tanky you can build. I think a lot of people are probably going to use this, and it's a reasonable cost. You don't get too much in the way of stats on it, but that 2 bonus damage, we'll just have to sort of wait and see how much the increase is via the vitality difference, but I think it could be a very big thing. Next up we have Overclocked Droid. Gives you 7 power, 13 attack speed, and Frenzy. Gain 26 attack speed and 150 movement speed for 6 seconds. You take 15% additional damage whilst this effect is active. So this is Hemorrhage. In other words, it has a 30-second cooldown and costs 50 mana. It also costs 4 agility and 2 vitality. So it's not a far stretch that a carry could be picking this up. 2 vitality is not that much to spec into. And actually, speccing a couple of points into vitality is not really a bad option for a carry. It gives them a little bit of sustain anyway. So this is very popular at the moment in Hemorrhage, and I think it's going to continue to be popular coming into version 42. But then again, there are so many different cards out there and playstyles that it may not be as prominent as it is right now. Next up we have Outlander Scout. It is a 1000 gold cost card, and it grants true sight in a radius around your hero, meaning that you'll be able to see anyone and anything that is around you in that radius, whatever that radius is. I'm assuming it's between 1000 and 1500 units, so you'll be able to see, I'm guessing, people through walls. You'll also be able to see invisible people as well. It's also a combustible card though, so that 1000 cost, if you don't make, it's going to be constantly giving you true sight, so it could potentially keep you safe, but if it doesn't keep you safe, you're going to lose that, and there goes that 1000 gold again to buy it again. Then we have Nuke Blood Mutant. I love the art on this card, I don't know why, but I just really like it. It comes with 19 power, 195 mana, and it has Arcane Haste. Gain 20 movement speed and 6 attack speed for 5 seconds when you cast an ability. Stacks up to 5 times. So this is pretty cool. It's definitely, I think, a very good option for someone like Morigesh, who is all about positioning and about continuously poking. You could easily have this at max stacks with your mark and your hive, and you're adding your movement speed. On top of that, you've already got 3 stacks, then you're going to mark again, so you're up to 4 stacks, so you'd be at 80 bonus movement speed and 24 attack speed. So this could be really, really good on her. It costs 4 agility and 8 vitality, which is not too bad of an option for her. I would probably On someone like Morrigas, be going for obviously more intellect a little bit at the start to help her out with her mana costs, but Vitality is not a really bad option for a caster like her. Next up we have Nitro Boost. It gives you 11 attack speed and it gives you sprint, which you gain 125 movement speed for 3 seconds, and it has a 12-second cooldown. So this is not bad at all. It's only a 3 agility cost. It could be used for carries or junglers just to secure those kills. It's not really any need to go fully in depth with that. It's very simple to understand that it's going to be pretty good. And it's probably more so going to be used early game, which is where you want to secure more kills and get ahead anyway. Next up we have Living Guardian. Comes with Fortifying Strikes. Basic attack hits grant a stack of 2 basic armor for 10 seconds. The effect can stack up to 10 times, so you can get 20 basic armor out of this. Only costs 1 vitality. So this is actually pretty decent. I'm not sure how much people are sort of going to use it, but you know, it would be good for a jungler because it doesn't say hits on enemy heroes, it just says basic attack hits. So you could be stacking up that armor while you're in a jungle, which means less damage. Could also, I suppose, be good on a carry. They're going to be getting basic armor anyway from agility, so maybe stacking that extra agility, extra armor might be an option. Then we have Hellfire Engine. It comes with just savagery, and you gain 100 basic damage just flat. It costs 7,000 gold, so it's extremely expensive as far as gold goes, and it's a combustible card, so if you die you will lose this. But oh my god, that 100 basic damage is going to be pretty powerful, because if we come back up and we look at one that actually gives you power, this one for example is 12,000 gold worth of attribute points, and it only gives you 19 power and 195 mana. So for the cost, I really think that this is very strong, but it's balanced out in a way that it is combustible, so you could waste that. If you don't secure those couple of kills when you go to use this card, you could be absolutely wasting all that gold. Now we have Heavy Hitter. Comes with 16 power and 16 attack speed and powerful strikes. Basic damage is increased by 10%. It only costs 8 agility. Well, it costs 8 agility. And it's a pretty decent card actually, because it is something that you're going to be using on a carry or a jungler perhaps, and just increasing your damage by a flat 10% can never be a bad option. It's just whether there are other better options. Then we have Glycerin Dawn. 21 power and Fire of Dawn. You launch a fireball dealing 250 initial damage and burning for 200 damage over 4 seconds. So it's going to hit for 450 over 4 seconds pretty much. It has a 30-second cooldown and it costs 50 mana. It costs 7 intellect, so definitely it's going to be something that's more prominent on casters. And it doesn't actually seem like a bad option, especially on characters, considering the fact that they're going to be running into intellect. Intellect's going to mean they have more mana, they have more mana regen. They're also going to be proccing their first 2 gems at this stage, because I believe your second gem becomes active at 7 points into that attribute. So that 50 mana cost you're going to get back pretty quickly, so depending on how hard this fireball is to actually hit, this could be an extremely viable option for casters, and I'm probably going to be testing that out on Iggy, because why not throw an extra fireball? Next we have Demolitionist. It comes with just Siege, deal plus 12 bonus damage to non-hero units and structures. Bonus damage is reduced to plus 8 if the attacks are ranged. So it only costs 1 agility, so I'm feeling like it may be a pretty decent interim card for someone that is running a carry or a split pusher. The offlaner is probably more than likely going to be using this. Just having that bonus damage is always helpful, especially on someone like Zinx. I feel like could kind of use this because her wave push is pretty pathetic. It's not that bad, let's be honest, but it's no Wukong. So she's going to clear waves quicker and she's going to do more damage to structures, so it's definitely a very viable option in the right circumstances. Next up we have June Winds, which is 11 power and it has Fearless Blood. Reduce your max health by 75 to gain 10 power and 9 attack speed. Effect doubles per activation. So by the sounds of that, you can just keep activating this and removing 75 health to gain extra power and attack speed. If you were a relatively tanky hero, this might be a very good option for you. It does have combustible, so if you do die, you're going to have to buy it again. You're going to lose it when you die. But it's very interesting card, especially if you have high health regen already, and a little bit of maybe lifesteal coming from agility. It's definitely, I think this is definitely going to get some use. You're going to see this a little bit, I think. It's a very good card. 2050 gold cost is not actually too bad for what you can potentially get out of this. It's just the fact that it's combustible that is a bit of a worry when equipping it. Next up we have Deathcrawler. 28 power and 24 basic armor, and it comes with Mighty Strikes. Attack speed is reduced by 65. Every 8 seconds, your basic attack deals 300% bonus damage. This is freaking awesome. Okay, so you're reducing your attack speed by quite a lot, but every 8 seconds, your next basic attack deals 300% bonus damage. So that's 4 times your normal damage, which for 13 agility, our carry is going to be speccing into this. You know they're going to be speccing into agility. I really think that this is kind of a must pick. I can imagine how strong this and the new Christ, I forget what the card is called, the new Hemorrhage card added together, because you're going to be getting more power and attack speed. So you'll kind of negate a bit of the attack speed reduction of this card with the new Hemorrhage card. And those attacks are just going to be disgusting. It is only every 8 seconds, but that is a lot of damage. If you know that this is going to proc and you land that shot, it is going to effing hurt. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And especially even on a melee hero, you could imagine getting hit by a Seraph that has altered you, has altered and hit you with a slow, and lands her first shot with the damage that she already has, with the damage that she gets from her ultimate, and then with this damage as well. You're gonna be pretty sore. Okay, now we have Compensator Rig. 24 power, 467 health. And you get Desperate Strikes. Deal 1 additional basic damage for every 60 missing health. So you've got to spec 3 into agility and 10 into vitality, which a lot of junglers are going to have anyway, let's be honest. It is pretty expensive, but and keep in mind that this card is listed as a level 5 here, so the power and health is probably going to be a fair bit lower. I'm thinking probably like 12 to 15 power, and probably around about 300 health maybe. But you're still going to be dealing the 1 additional basic damage for every 60 missing health, which is pretty huge considering how big some players' health pools are actually going to be. It is going to go up and down probably a little bit, considering the fact that you're going to be regenning. But it's definitely an interesting card, and I'm interested to see what people do with it. Next up we have Blitz Rush, which gives you 16 attack speed and executioner's dash. Dash forward a short distance, hero kills, reset this card's cooldown. So this is Blink Shot, a 2-minute cooldown and costs 50 mana, and it's 2 intellect and 2 agility to buy it. We all know how good Blink Shot is on carries if they can land their shots, so I don't really need to say much more about that. Next up we have Amplification Engineer, gives you 24 power and 210 mana, and it has unstable spells. When casting an ability, damage nearby enemy heroes for 8% of their current health as ability damage. This is actually pretty cool, because all you have to do is cast an ability and you are guaranteed to damage nearby enemy heroes for 8% of the current health pool. I can't really see any downsides to this card. It costs 4 agility and 9 intellect, so casters could quite easily spec 4 into agility. I can't see why that would be a bad thing. And they would probably, by the time they went to get this, they would already have 9 intellect to spend. So it's a very, very good card. It's probably going to be pretty strong. You may see this quite a lot. It's just going to be whether the casters are wanting to run Chaos at all. Maybe you might see it a bit more prominently on junglers, you know, coming in and going for a stun or whatnot, or say a Grux charging into a group of people and activating his ultimate is going to proc this, so it could be pretty strong. We'll probably see it a bit, and it's moving down into intellect there for some reason, knowledge rather. So that is it. I'm pretty keen to try out a lot of these Chaos cards. I know a lot of people are going to be. I hope you enjoyed this video and my opinions on these cards. If you did, smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe for more Paragon content. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.